Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for choosing to watch this video. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me and watch this video. For today's project, we will use chipboard. We will use two pieces 8.5 by 6, one piece 8.5 by 2, and two pieces 8.5 by 1. I will also use this paper as a cover, those two pieces, but I do want to show you where these pieces came from. They actually came from this collection. I talked about this collection in one of my previous videos. I absolutely love this one. There is a total of 240 sheets of design paper, 120 designs. I think just about all of them are gorgeous. If you like flowers, this is definitely for you. But they also have, or there is also included, little vintage style papers. For example, like this one, they got other styles. As for flowers, it's absolutely gorgeous. I picked few of them just to show you. Here is a set of two. Here's another set of two. Beautiful sunflowers. Another set of two papers. Beautiful flowers. And there is so many sheets like this in this collection. I absolutely love it. I will also use 12 by 12 cardstock to wrap our chipboard, and this is the color I'm choosing. I think it will go very nicely with the cover. The paper for the inside of our project I didn't choose yet. We will do this later on. So to create the cover for our project, we will glue the two pieces together. And we will glue our chipboard. So I will position the chipboard just like that, 1/8 of an inch space in between the chipboard, and we will position just like that. Actually a little bit lower, we need about 1 inch border all around. So we will position it just like that, and we will glue it. Now, to make sure that you glue this straight, you could take a ruler or something, put it underneath while you're gluing it, to make sure that all your pieces are aligned nice and even. So I will glue off camera and I will be right back. Okay, so I glued the pieces, and now I also trimmed off the excess of the paper on the side and the top. I left only 1 inch border of the paper all around. So now we will score all around. We will fold it over. And I will run spatula all around to get those nice creases. Just like that. And now we need to miter the corners. So we will trim them on an angle, leaving a little bit paper, just about whatever the thickness of the board is. just like that. And now we will glue. Let's make sure this is all stuck. All around. Okay, let's make sure that everything is really stuck. So if you see anything peeking or lifting over, just work with the spatula. And now we're gonna work in between the chipboard, just a little crease. Don't push it too hard, you don't want to break the cardstock. Now for this project I will be using magnets. I purchased my magnets from Amazon, and these are, I have different sizes, so let me check. This is 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter by 1 millimeter. We will use 6 of them. They are trying to go away. To place magnets in a position, I'm using double-sided tape, but I have this really thin one, so I will use that. And I'm putting them about 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit more from the edge. We want to make sure that we have enough room to actually cover this and get the paper stuck all around the magnets. So I usually work on magnets at this point because otherwise I will forget to place them. So this way we know that they are all in position. So now I just put the tape glue side up underneath the magnet right here to make sure that the magnet sticks. Just like that. And now when we try to close it, align your cover straight. And when you close it, just try to push it all around those magnets to get that tape to adhere, as you see it right here. If it doesn't, then you can put little glue and position it that way. But now you can hear the click. It's a really nice closure. So now we will decorate the outside and the inside of our cover. So I will cut the paper for the outside, and we're gonna need a piece that measures 8 1/4 by 5 3/4, and we will need 2 pieces. The leftover piece I will trim down to 8 1/4, and we need 1 piece 3/4 of an inch, but let me just trim this. Okay, so three quarter of an inch, and we need 2 of them. And we will need 1 piece, 1 1/4. Okay, so we have our pieces for outside. Since we have our thing out, we're gonna cut. This is the leftover piece that we have, that I trimmed from the side of the cover. We're gonna cut this down to 8 inches. And we will need 4 strips, 1.5 inches long. So 1, 2, and this one I'm gonna do 1 1/4, just so I don't have to use another piece. And now we're gonna glue these pieces first to cover our spine, just like that. So the space in between those 2 pieces should be approximately on the middle of the spine. Kinda just like that. Leave a little opening, just the way I have it now, and try to position on the middle, looking at the top. This distance from the paper and the edge of the cover, it should be about the same as whatever you have on the bottom. So let me glue this, and I will be right back. Okay, I glued those 3, and I have 1 left. So this one, if you put magnets further out, you just need to make sure that the last piece, when you glue it, does not cover any of these magnets. If it's getting over the magnets, you need to trim this piece. So as you can see, this piece is just fine, fitting well. So I'm just gonna glue it, just like that. Now we're gonna squish this, just to make sure it adheres. Okay. So now, before we work on our cover, we will work on those scores in here. So you push the paper on the inside of the score, but be careful. If your spatula is too sharp, you don't want to break this. You don't want to break the paper. So just work it a little bit. Just push this onto the inside while closing the page. And we're gonna do this on all scores. Just like that. And don't force it, just work it, because you don't want any of your cardstock to break on this side. So we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Just work the score and try to close it. And we do the same to this one. Just like that. And you can hear it, what a nice click this is. It's gonna hold really nicely. So now, because we work those scores, now we can see where the folds are. So when you close it, this is the front, right? So we're gonna do it this way, and we will glue our cover, And I think I want this to be on the front, just like that. This will be the back. We have the spine, another spine, and this will be on the front. So I'm gonna glue this just like that. Now before we glue this, we need to remove our tape, otherwise there's too many layers, and you want to make sure that you do get that really nice closing of your cover. So now we will apply the glue. I want to position this just like that. So when I position this, I'm looking at the outside edges because they should be approximately 1/8 of an inch all around. And now we will make sure that this adheres, but be careful by those magnets. So we do want to squish it all the way around, but don't go too hard, just work this paper because you don't want to rip it. You don't want to rip this paper. So you can just feel it almost with your finger where the magnet is. So we are just making sure that the glue adheres all around. And now we glue the other pieces. Again, I'm looking at that border just to make sure that I have everything straight. And now I will do this large piece. And now pay attention to where the scores are on the inside. You can see it. So I'm trying to position even on the bottom, approximately 1/8 of an inch. If you need to, you can fold it to see if you have positioned this straight. And let's just squish this to make sure everything adheres. Just like that. Got a little bit too much glue. But don't worry about it if you're using the same glue I am, which is art glitter. This one dries clear and it dries very, very quickly. So now we have only the spine left. So now I'm trying to position on the middle and I'm looking at the distance right here. And now the last piece. Okay, so here is our cover. I really like those borders. I think it's nice. Colors, they seem to be nicely arranged. So now we need to work on the inside of this cover and I need to choose the paper. Okay, so for the inside, I decided to use this plaid. I still want a little bit of the contrast between the cover and the paper. That's why I'm choosing something a little bit lighter, but yet I think it still will work with this paper. So we will cut this to size. So we need to cut this down to 8 1/4. The width of the panels, we're gonna do 5 3/4, and we will need 2 of them. Then we will need to cut down the leftover piece to 8 1/4, and we need pieces for the spine. So we're gonna need one piece approximately, let me just trim this down just a tiny bit. So we're gonna need 3/4 of an inch. We're gonna need 2 pieces. And we will need one piece, 1 3/4. So as you can see, for the front and inside of our cover, we're gonna need one sheet of paper, and then we will create one pocket, for which we will need more paper. So the whole project is going to take about 3 sheets of paper, decorative paper. So we're going to position this just like that. Now over here we need to remove our backing for the double-sided tape. We will apply the glue. And again, I'm looking at the outside border. It should be approximately 1/8 of an inch all around. And now we have magnets in here. So we need to work around these magnets to make sure that our paper is stuck and it's not lifting. So take your time, and I can see that I didn't put enough glue right here. So I'm just gonna work this. I'm gonna put additional glue just to make sure this is stuck. This glue dries really quickly, so maybe it dried up already in some places. That's why I'm putting additional glue right here on the inside, because we do want to make sure that this is glued. You don't want anything opening up on the edges. And we work all around those magnets, just like that. So now the spine we're gonna do last. Let's do this piece first. Now we're gonna do the middle. 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. Pay attention to your scores. It should be 1/8 of an inch space in between the paper we are applying and the score itself. And now we can cover the spine. And the spine, 1/8 of an inch from the bottom, and I'm trying to position on the middle of the scores. You can pay attention to the distance between those two papers. That's gonna give you guide if you are applying straight or not. Just like that. Now we will use in here notepad from Dollar Tree. This notepad has 3 sections, and we will apply it just like that. We will make it removable, but we're not gonna do that yet. We will work on this side. Now, I received a request to make this type of notepad cover that would include space or place to put your cell phone. So I do have iPhone 13, so I'm gonna make a little packet to fit this iPhone. Now you may have iPhone different size, different dimension, so I will show you how to make the packet for your cell phone. So what we really need to do is measure the dimension of the cell phone, and you need to allow a little bit more space. So what I'm looking in here is the camera is sticking out a little bit, so I need space for my phone approximately half an inch. It could be a little bit more than half an inch, but definitely not much less, because you won't be able to put the iPhone in or out, or your cell phone. So I am gonna mark it down. So I need half an inch for the depth. So my cell phone is approximately 3 inches wide. And my cell phone is 5 3/4 tall. So those are the dimensions of my iPhone. So I will use the same paper as I used for the cover to actually cover the iPhone, to make the packet for the iPhone. So I want these flowers to show up on the front, so I'm gonna cut it this way, and I will cut 5 inches, 5-inch piece, and the height, for the height, and I'm trying to pay attention to the design, so we're gonna cut the height to 6 3/4. So now we will score. We will score the long way, half an inch and 1 inch. I'm gonna turn to the side. This is gonna be my bottom. So half an inch and 1 inch. We're gonna turn it around, and that's the other side. We're gonna do half an inch and 1 inch. So now you can see we got 2 scores on each side. We will fold them over, and we will burnish them, all the scores. Okay, so now what we will do, we will cut the square off, just straight to the second score. The same thing on this side, we're gonna cut it to the second score, and we do the same thing on the opposite side. Second score, second score. So this is what you should have at this point. Now we're gonna create little angle from the beginning of the paper to the first score, and we do this on both sides. On this flap, this will be the bottom, this will be the top. So on the top we will also create little angle from the edge of the paper to the first score. You see, first score, we're gonna create a little angle. And this will be our cell phone packet. Now, before you glue anything, you might want to try it if this will fit. And as you can see, we still have a little bit of space, which is good. That means you're gonna be able to freely put this cell phone in. So what we're gonna do, we could glue it just like this. Now the request that I received was to make the cell phone cover so nobody can see it that you have a cell phone. So we can make it just like that and just glue it. But I think when we put the cell phone in, it might be a little bit difficult for you to remove it. I mean, you could with your finger. You could also cut out a little window in here, so you just push the cell phone out. So it's totally up to you how you want to do it. I will cut out a little window, and to do that I am lining up with the board just to see where is the middle, and it's somewhere in here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna mark my paper, and this is an option for you if that's what you want to do. So I'm trying to mark the center. Now we can mark, let's just say it, 1 centimeter on both sides. If you want to use inches, that's no problem. Let's use inches. So this is the 1/2 inch mark. I'm gonna just mark it 1/2 inch on both sides, and I will do the same thing right here. So now I will join these lines just like that. And now it depends how big of a window you want. I'm gonna make just a small one, and I'm gonna put mark right here, 2 inches from the top, a little bit less from the bottom. So I will cut this out just like that. And you could round the corners in here if you're cutting with the knife, and maybe that's what I do. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make it cut right here on this line, and in here to the end, but then I could round it up just a little bit on both sides to cut this out, and I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, just a little round up to the end and around this corner, and we have our little window. So when you put the cell phone, yes, you can see it a little bit, but you're going to be able just to slide it in or out. Now the window is totally optional if you want to do it or not. It's totally up to you. So now we will glue all the pieces together. So I'm gonna position this just like that towards the bottom. You can do it however you want. Close. I'm gonna put it closer to the edge because I want this space for something else. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna apply the glue only to that bottom flap, just like that. Position. You can fold this over. Make this even with the bottom, just like that. And I'm looking at those scores. I don't want this outside score to go too far out. So I'm just gonna glue it just like that. And you can see we are beginning to create our box. So now you could use double-sided tape if you like, or you can use glue. Double-sided tape would work very nicely, but I will just apply the glue. It doesn't matter, whatever you prefer. So now when we fold this over, just make sure that everything is squared away. I'm gonna take my ruler and I'm gonna squish it from the inside, just like that. I think that the glue is holding better than double-sided tape. Now on the inside you can probably go just like that and squish it a little bit from both sides, just to make sure everything adheres. And here is our packet for the cell phone. And you can see it how easy it is to slide this in and out. So the only thing we are missing is actually closure for this. So for the closure, we're gonna make something really simple. So the cover is 3 inches, or from side to side is 3 inches. I am gonna cut piece that is 2 7/8. Actually 2 7/8. So I have this paper left. If you don't want to use the same paper for the cover, you could use something else, but we will make it. And I want this darker side, so I'm gonna make 2, almost 3. I want just a tiny bit smaller, so I'm cutting, you could cut 2 7/8 or 2 15/16, just a tiny bit shorter. So now I'm not gonna cut this to size yet, because we will score. We will score at 1.25 inches, 2.5. Then we're gonna score at 3, and we're gonna score at 3.5 and at 4. So the last score, which is at 4, I will cut the rest of it out. But just to show you, here is where the score is. I don't want to see this score, so I'm gonna cut this just a tiny bit shorter, just like that. And now let's fold over our scores. Now make sure that this top is folding nicely. If it doesn't, just trim this edge just a tiny bit. But as you can see it, mine is folding perfectly fine, so I'm gonna leave it the way it is. So what we're gonna do now is this 1¼ inch piece, we will glue just like that. We will fold over and glue it. Just like that. Because when you open it, you're still gonna see the design. And we just did add additional thickness to it. And that's what I was really looking for to do. So now this will be the top. So what I'm trying to do is make closure. So you see, when you close, this is gonna be the top. So the bottom piece, I do wanna fold over, and I also wanna glue it. This is gonna give you this really, really nice finish when you open the packet. So we're gonna glue it just like that. And now we have almost our piece done. I like round corners, so I will round them. So this is the front of this is gonna be the flap. And now this short piece with the short score, I will just trim it on an angle from the score to the end, and the same thing on the opposite side. So now when we bring this over, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to cover this. When you open it, you have this nice edge and you have nice finishing in here. So I do want to see what I'm doing, so I'm going to turn this around because we need to glue this flap. And again, for that you could also use double-sided tape if that's what you choose. I just think that glue is holding much better for a lot longer. So now when we line this up, we are trying to line up that score right here, this score with the edge of our box. So let's squish this, and here is our closure. So to close this, it would be really nice for us to use magnets, but because we are putting cell phone in there, I don't want to use magnet. I don't know how magnet would affect your cell phone, so that's why I will not use magnet. I will use Velcro, little Velcro dot in here. So I buy my Velcro dots from Dollar Tree. And we will use just one. You could use half of it if that's what you like, just so it grabs it. So I'm gonna add here one, kinda on the middle right here. And I'm gonna put one on the top. Let's close this. When you open it, be careful, because first time the glue doesn't really hold that well. So now we have our Velcro. We could put our cell phone, close it, and this portion is done. So now we do have paper left, and now we will work on a notebook. So if you don't want a removable notebook, you can just glue it right here, and that would be perfectly fine. I'm gonna glue it to the side, and there is a reason for it. I will show you why. I want a little bit more space on this side because we're gonna place pencil or pen right here. So when you close it, you want enough room for that pen or pencil just kind of stay on this side when it's closed. So if you want notepad to be just glued and not removable, you just apply the glue, put the notepad in here, and you're done. But many of you like the option of removable notepad. So we have this paper left. So I will cut approximately 2.5 inches strip. Now there is no right or wrong way to do this. So if you want this strip to be a little bit wider, that's fine. Narrower, that's fine also. I don't like it to be too narrow because I want this to really capture the notebook or notepad. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn around the notepad, wrong side of the paper towards us, and we put it on the back, just like this, all the way to the top. So now we fold over one side, just like that. And now I like to remove it just a tiny bit, like 1/8 of an inch maybe, and make sure that you are still positioned straight. Now this extra space, it's really gonna help you. It's gonna make it easier for you to place the notepad in your folder. And now we just gonna fold over this piece, and we will apply the glue to glue those two pieces together. Now I can't go past here, so I'm gonna apply the glue, and I'm not going too close to the edge because I don't want to squish this glue, so it's gonna come on the sides. We don't want to glue the notepad into this bend. So here it is, and you're going to be able easily to slide the notepad in and out. So now we can position it in here, apply the glue to the back. Again, I'm not going close to the edges because I don't want to glue this notepad. So you can go on the edge on the side, but not close to the notepad itself. So now I'm positioning the bottom the way I want it. Line this up, and we will glue it. So now I can slowly remove this, and let's make sure that everything is nice and squished so the glue adheres. So we just squish it from the inside, just like that, and we just created our removable notepad. And you can see you got plenty of room. You don't have to struggle to put that notepad in. So now we will work on placement for our pen or pencil, just like that. What I found is that actually I want this to match, So I'm gonna use the leftover paper that I have. I am gonna cut approximately 2 inches. I found that 2 inches is just about perfect size for the pencil holder. And we will score this. So we will score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, 2, and 2.5. The 2.5 inch score, I am gonna cut this off, but I don't wanna keep this score. We're gonna cut off that score. Just like that. So when we fold that over, now you can see that we can easily glue this together. So we can apply the glue, and not too much. I don't want the glue to start spilling on each side. So now I take the bone folder and make sure this is all squished and stuck. Now before you glue this, make sure that your pen fits, but I found that 1/2 inch score, it fits just about everything. You can actually, I have a marker, and you can actually put marker in here. So it seems like 1/2 inch, it just works on everything. So on this side, I don't know if you can see it, this is where the 2 pieces are glued together. This is where I'm gonna apply the glue, and this is how we're gonna glue it. So you can position your pen right here to see where you wanna glue this piece. And I am putting this off center on purpose. We're gonna squish it from both sides. So now we can put our pencil, and it fits perfectly. When we close it, you can see it, it's trapped. I hope you can see it. It's trapped right there in between the notebook. This is the reason why the notepad is off center. Now I do have sticky pads that I purchased from Dollar Tree, but what I'm trying to do is place them right here next to the cell phone, and obviously they are too big. So what I'm gonna do, they are 3 inches wide. I will mark 1.5 inches on both sides, and I will cut this in half. So to do this you really need sharp knife, sharp blade, and I will just cut it just like that. Okay, so now this is sticky pad, but you could use almost as a little flags, or write it this way and it still serves purpose as a sticky pad. So I am just gonna glue it this way. I mean, it would be nice if I had some pink ones, I just don't have it to match the color. And now these, I don't want to make it removable because the backing is really thin. So even if you use them up, you can always place, let me remove this. You can always just glue it right on top of that backing. That's really no big deal. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the bottom one. And I'm gonna position just like that, just right underneath. So basically I want to use as much space as I possibly can. And I think with the notepad and the sticky notes, I think that's a perfect combination. So this is our project. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please hit like, comment, share and subscribe. It really helps my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I think you will find the use for it. I think it's a beautiful gift for someone or for yourself. If that's what you would like to use in your office, at your home, as a little note. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you in my next video.